everybody, welcome once again. You're watching my channel Krishna Singhdeo and my name is Krishna. Students, we are meeting here for class 11 students and the chapter which we are doing is accounting equation. We have done couple of classes and there we have learned how to pass each transaction into accounting equation. Today we are going to deal with type 2 questions where either closing capital, opening capital or asset at the end of the year has to be found, or you are supposed to find out profit or loss made in the proprietorship business during the year. This kind of questions are found in both ISC and CBSE syllabus. So you have to practice such kind of questions because these kind of questions as per the new pattern can be asked in multiple choice questions or as subjective questions also it can be asked. So let's start doing these questions. Today we are going to solve 5 questions. Yes, so today's session is going to be power pack session where we are going to solve 5 questions based on this type 2 type of questions. Let's get started. Here are 5 questions on your screen which we'll do today. From where are you going to get these questions? You will have to download my app Krishna's classes, and under free study resources for class 11th you will get this word file along with these questions. And I will strongly recommend that today you sit for the class with pen and paper in the hand, because if you solve these questions with me then your concepts are going to be more and more clearer. So let's get started. First question over here is given. The capital of the business is rupees 1 lakh and the liabilities are 60,000 rupees. There is 1 0 extra. This is only 60,000 rupees. Calculate the total asset. This is very simple question. Here we have to simply apply the accounting equation and find out the answer. So the accounting equation is assets is equal to capital plus liability, whereas we have been given the capital of 1 lakh rupees and we have been also given the liabilities of 60,000 rupees. So altogether 1,60,000 rupees is our total asset. That's all. So we have solved this question without much effort. This is very simple. We just have to add liabilities and the capital, then we will find out the answer what is total capital, total asset. Let's go to the next question. The next question is question number 2. It tells Ashna commenced business on 1st April 2017. Whenever you see the beginning of year means what it is. Whenever you see beginning of year, it means what? This is opening capital. So opening capital is given to you. They have written opening capital as rupees 5 lakh. On 31st March 2018, her assets were rupees 7,80,000. Okay. So at the end of the year, assets are also given to us and liabilities are given 70,000. Find out the closing capital and profits earned during the year. So here, what do we have to find out? We have to find out over here 2 things. Step number 1 is going to be finding out the closing capital. Closing capital means the capital at the end of year. So I'm doing it in step number 1. In step number 1, I'll find out what is the closing capital of business. Closing capital means at the end of year how much capital is there. So the formula is assets is equal to capital plus liability, whereas our assets are 7,80,000. Our liabilities are 70,000. Capital is not known to us right now, so I've just written capital, and by change of place I am going to find out what is capital, which is 7,80,000 minus 70,000. So here is your capital. So your capital is 7,10,000, and what is this capital? This is closing capital. Which capital is this? This is known as closing capital because it is at the end of the year. Now we have to find out another requirement of the question. Question has asked us to find out closing capital as well as the profit earned during the year. So when we compare the opening capital and the closing capital, the difference between these two is only known as profit or loss. So means if the closing capital has increased, it has increased because of profit. It has reduced because of the losses. So let's see. Step number 2 is closing capital minus opening capital. And when you do this, closing capital is how much? Closing capital is, we just calculated 7,10,000 and opening capital was 5 lakh rupees. So your profit is 2,10,000. 2,10,000 is our profit. So this is how we calculate. Whenever we have to calculate what is profit or loss, we compare the closing capital and the opening capital, and difference is either profit or loss. Next question, question number 3, saying Uma started business on 1st April 2022 with the capital of rupees 7,50,000 and loan. Here one more liability is also there. Loan is a liability taken from Punjab National Bank, and her assets were 15 lakh on 31st March 2023, means year end. Find out the capital on 31st March and the profits made or the losses incurred during 2020 to 23. Same question like the previous question. The only thing which is being introduced over here, there is a liability also, the liability of 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so let's do it again. This question also we are going to do in 2 steps. So step number 1 is going to be calculation of opening capital. So I'm writing over here assets is equal to capital plus liability. So my closing capital and closing assets were 15 lakh rupees. So here I am going to write 15 lakh rupees. Assets are 15 lakh. And capital we do not know. This is what we have to find out. But liabilities, since there is nothing written about the repayment of liability, so we will write that still this liability is there. Now I am going to find out my capital by change of place. So 15 lakh minus 2 lakh rupees is my capital. So my capital has become 13 lakh rupees, right? Now they are asking us something else also to find out. They are asking calculate closing capital and profit earned during the year. So when we are talking about profit earned during the year, again step number 2, we will have to do closing capital minus opening capital. Our opening capital was, closing capital was 13 lakh rupees and opening capital was 5, I guess. Yes, 5 lakh rupees was opening capital. Sorry, not 5. It was 7,50,000. 7,50,000. Okay. So this has become 5,50,000. The amount of 5,50,000 is profit. I hope you understood, students. Let us do the next question now. This next question is question number 4, which is talking about Aditya commenced business on 1/4/2017 with a capital of 5 lakh and loan of rupees 1 lakh borrowed from ICICI Bank, and his assets were 8 lakh rupees on the closing of year. Calculate his closing capital and profit for the year. This is same question like the previous question. We know previous question also there was a loan element. So we know if we have to find out for question number 4, if I do it over here, my closing capital will be found out like this. My closing capital is equal to, I'm going to write what is my asset on that day. Assets are 8 lakh rupees and minus liabilities, so 7 lakh rupees. 7 lakh rupees is my closing capital. How did I do? Here I did little shortcut and directly I did it. Like in this question only, step number 1, what we had done in previous question, same step has to be followed. Step number 1 is equal to assets plus capital plus assets is equal to capital plus liability. You fill in the figure and by change of place you calculate closing capital. Now they are asking us to find out profit or loss also. So profit or loss will be found out by closing capital minus opening capital formula. Okay, so closing capital we just calculated and opening capital was given to us. So closing capital is 7 lakh minus 5 lakh is 2 lakh rupees. During the year, he introduced this is next question I am reading. That's it is profit. Question number 5 I will say is important question, because in question number 5 we have to use the formula of going backward. Okay, let's read this. The question says Arham commenced business on 1st April 2017 with a capital of 5 lakh and loan of rupees 1 lakh rupees borrowed from bank. Okay, so this is the opening capital and this is liability. During the year, he introduced fresh capital. Fresh capital means this is a further introduction of capital and originally it is added, and he withdrew for personal use in 10,000 rupees. So this is drawings. On 31st March, his assets were 8 lakh rupees. Calculate closing capital and profits. So first step again we are going to do in this question is step number 1. We will find out closing capital. How are we going to find out closing capital? We'll put the formula assets is equal to capital plus liability. And assets on the closing date are given to us as 8 lakh rupees. And the loan liability, since it is not repaid, it will remain as it is, plus 1 lakh rupees I am writing over here. So my capital will become 8 lakh minus 1 lakh. This is your capital, means your closing capital is 7 lakh rupees. This is your closing capital. Okay, now let us find out profit. This time the formula of profit is going to be slightly different. What are we going to do? We'll take our closing capital. We will deduct from here additional capital and we will add over here drawings and we will deduct opening capital. Closing capital we just calculated is 7 lakh rupees. Additional capital introduction was 40,000 rupees. Drawings was 10,000. And opening capital we had read in the first line of question. Opening capital was 5 lakh rupees. This is the opening capital. This will also be deducted. So 5 minus 7. 5 minus 7 is 2 lakh. 2 lakh 10,000 and from 2 lakh 10,000 I have to deduct 40,000. So this will become 1 lakh 70,000. 1 lakh 70,000. So this is the amount of profit. This is the amount of profit. Now understand why did we add additional capital? Why did we deduct additional capital and we added drawings? So originally, if we look at the opening capital, in the opening capital, what do we do? In the opening capital, we add the amount of additional capital. We add profits. We deduct any drawings. And then we reach to the closing capital. Here our starting point is this one. Our starting point is here and we are going in the reverse manner. That is why all the signs are going to change. Drawings which is originally deducted will be added. Profit which is originally added will be deducted and additional capital which is originally added will be deducted. So like this, when we are going from bottom to top, our sign will be changing. That is why we have done the calculation in this manner, which is we have minus the additional capital, we have added the drawing, and opening capital is also being subtracted. So that's all for accounting equation, students. I hope you understood this topic very well and you have practiced enough number of questions. If any doubt comes, you can always write in the comment section. I will definitely provide you the solution for your doubts and I will clarify your doubts. Now we are ready to start our next chapter, which is one of the most important chapter, which is journal entries. Yes, so from next class we are going to start our next chapter, which is journal entries. There are a lot of things about journal entries which we'll have to learn. That is, first of all, learning the amount and the rules of debit and credit, and then learning the journalizing process itself. So we will do it in quite detail. I promise you that you will be the master of journal entries after attending classes with me. So let's get ready for that. And yes, last but not the least, do not forget to subscribe the channel. If you subscribe the channel, you will always be under benefit because you will be keeping in touch with me, and I will keep providing you a lot of useful information, not only with accountancy, with other subjects as well. So stay connected. Bye. Have a great day.